Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Mortisect. We're so happy that you're here with us today. We have a very special theme for February. It is horror rom-coms. Yay! So I'm here with my co-host, Henry, and we're going to discuss two Diablo Cody movies today. The first one that we're going to talk about is Jennifer's Body.
Yes. And the second one will be Lisa Frankenstein. So I really feel that these two films are perfect for this type of episode.
Yeah, and as we were both talking about earlier, we didn't really know that horror rom-com was a theme or like a genre, but it is. So that's pretty exciting. You learn something new every day.
And I think it's especially good for people that say, oh, I don't like horror, because I think horror is just, it's something that's in us that just people love that thrill. So if you're really not into the gory films or slasher films, rom-coms, horror rom-coms or rom-coms, they're really something that you should look into.
Yeah, although I have to say Jennifer's Body does have a little bit of gore. What happens in that movie is that it stars Megan Fox and Amanda Seyfried, and Megan Fox plays a succubus who is a teenage girl at a local high school, and she lures men into bed and then eats them.
No way.
I need you frightened. I need you hopeless.
And so there's like a bunch of murders going on in the town. Shit's going down.
Oh, it goes down.
Yeah.
It goes down.
And basically, I found out that this is an allegory for puberty, and Jennifer's body is changing in unwanted ways. So this is her way of controlling it through sex, and that's basically a statement about finding self-validation in puberty through meaningless sex that can hurt yourself and your potential partners.
What I liked about the film is exactly that there's that angst. You know, teenagers are at that point where they're learning about sexuality, and to see the differences between Amanda Seyfried's character and Jennifer, which is played by Megan Fox, you see how one path seemingly is going in the right direction, whereas the other one is going into a very dark place.
What happened? Jen?
And in the beginning of the film, and spoiler alert, we might say certain things that will, will give away some of the plot, but we always try not to give away the ending, because I always feel the ending is really where it's at. And, we wouldn't do that purposely. And
We'll try not to.
Yeah, I could always edit it out if I needed to. They go to this bar to see this band called Low Shoulder.
Which is very like 2010s. I love the whole, I was like, oh my God, I had that jacket in 2008, the Abercrombie & Fitch one that Megan Fox is wearing.
Oh yeah, and well, it was so like Low Shoulder. I mean, it sounds like an emo grunge rock band. And Adam Brody plays the lead singer, and I thought he did it perfectly.
Yes, so good.
He's been in a couple of films where I've been impressed, and this was one of them. And Jennifer really wants to get with the band.
Good evening, Devil's Lake. Devil's Kettle. Fuck right it is.
And, she, again, this is where there was sex throughout it. But again, it's appropriate because this is the teenage world that they're living in. So she wants to hook up with the band, especially the lead singer, Adam Brody. And then, weirdly enough, a fire starts. And what did you think about when the fire started? I thought that Low Shoulder, especially Adam Brody, I thought that they knew about it and they didn't do anything. Do you think that that was done purposely, knowing what they do later on to Jennifer?
Oh my God, I never thought about it that way. Okay, I thought that Jennifer started the fire.
Oh, how did you think? Well, no, this is good because
she has like all these magic powers and she was trying to lure him in. So I thought she'd set it up.
I thought Amanda Seyfried at one point, because she was looking, I thought maybe she had, so it's unexplained, but this is a really good talking point. I didn't know, and knowing how Low Shoulder, what they do to Jennifer, I won't get too much into that because that will spoil some of it. I was like, oh, maybe that they want to burn this like bar to sacrifice people or something like that, thinking that that will gain them fame and fortune, which it ultimately kind of does.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good point. I never read it that way. I had a very different interpretation. So I'm like, whoa.
But that's perfect. And I think what you're going to see in this film is that there's a lot of really original twists and turns. But the gore scenes are when Jennifer is attacking men from the high school. And there's 2 in particular that she does that are pretty gruesome. But there's a lot of comedy underneath. And now this is really intense, but there's times where you hear colloquial phrases from that time. And I'm trying to remember some of them.
And the opening line is amazing. Hell is a teenage girl. That's like at the very start of the movie. And then Megan Fox and Amanda Seyfried, they're best friends, and they have like best friend necklaces. But it shows that teenage girl competition. And I think I was like watching somewhere that in an interview, Megan Fox had stated how women are always in competition with each other, even if they're friends, and especially at that age. And I thought it was like very relatable the way they portrayed their relationship.
Yeah, no, I thought so too. And one scene that was dramatic is when the necklace falls off of one of them, and it looks like their life almost gets sucked out of their body. And the symbolism in the film is, I think, appropriate. There's some characters that you don't want to see perish that do, and brings a lot of emotional turmoil. But having those characters no longer be there plays into the Amanda Seyfried part where, I won't say again, I'm always tempted to say too much, but she goes in a direction, or there is a twist at the end. And you do see that twist somewhat in the beginning. There's a lot of foreshadowing. And I think in maybe Diablo Cody's scripts, there tends to be a bit of being in the present moment and then going backwards, going back into past 2 months before, and then going to the present moment. So that's a technique you see in a lot of horror films, but it's completely appropriate for a horror rom-com.
Yeah, and I don't want to give it away, but there's like a really cool swimming pool scene, which I love.
She can fly.
She's just hovering. God, do you have to undermine everything that I do?
It kind of makes me think of Grease or something. Like, it's very high school to like have a swimming pool scene, even though it's like not in a school. So I'm not going to share too much about that. But I thought something that was really interesting about this movie is that it was basically a flop when it came out. And the critics were very harsh. I think I read there was one critic who said it was Twilight for boys.
I think that's so unfair, because I think it's more of like female
so
empowerment.
Right. But this is what happened. I was reading about it, and basically the studio messed up because Diablo Cody wrote it as a feminist movie, and it was supposed to be this introspective movie for teenage girls to relate to puberty. And instead of marketing it towards that group, they marketed it towards teenage boys as a Megan Fox is so sexy movie. And so that failed. And they even tried to push Megan Fox to make a fake porn website for the movie's marketing. And so that went really badly because teenage boys saw it and they were like, whoa, this is like very introspective and not like the Megan Fox is sexy movie that I thought I was going to get. And then teenage girls were like, I don't want to watch it because it's like a Megan Fox is sexy movie. Like, it's not for me.
They completely plus tax. They completely alienated their audience.
Right.
And although, you know, it kind of works in a twisted way, because it's just like Jennifer, who's a succubus that you don't know. The same thing about the film, you know, you just see a pretty face, and that's what ended up being the demise of those young men. They saw a pretty face, they weren't looking inward. If they looked inward, they would realize she was something completely different.
Which is probably what scared the men watching.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, God.
Yeah, so to say, oh, this is a boys' film, ultimately she's offing people, and they're young men.
She eats them.
Yeah.
And it's pretty brutal the way she eats them.
Yeah, it's ravenous the way she eats them. And then you say, no, this is definitely more of a feminist film, a film of empowerment. And I think that's why there's a growing cult following, because now people are realizing what the film actually is. It's not just Megan Fox being beautiful now, and that's something we also talked about before filming. Megan Fox, she did very good. There was the one scene where she was in a van and you know there's going to be trouble and the door slides closed. And you know, I think unfortunately in society, maybe that's why we need movies like this. We tend to look at actresses and just look at their outer beauty, but we don't ever look at maybe the content within and the abilities within that really make it a special movie and performance.
I totally fell for that, because I was saying earlier, I didn't really know much about Megan Fox as an actress because I just kind of wrote her off as like, oh, she does Marvel and like she's super sexy and I'm not into like action movies, so just not gonna watch it. And I was like, wow, she's a really good actress. Like, I want to see her in more stuff like this.
Yeah, I wish there was a second one, although I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah.
But those type of films really speak to me. I enjoy it. I like that there's an underlying meaning. Don't get me wrong. I also love B films with no plot whatsoever, and there's a lot of action. There's time and place for those, but also there's a time and place for those that have substance. And I think in horror, you need those films as much as you need the slasher films.
I am going to eat your soul.
You only murder boys.
I go both ways.